Here it is, Harlot. In this picture, I've chosen this piece of art because it focuses on the definition of the harlot portrayed through an artist. So this harlot has wings, angelic. Now let's get to the bottom and start straight away into the introduction. Let's introduce you to the meaning of the word harlot. So harlot comes from ha, the word ha. And ha is a note in singing, usually sung by angels. Okay, ha is a pure note. And that's why I like this depiction even more because it resembles angelic sensibility. Now, I'm also going to talk to you about whores. What is a whore? Okay, you may have heard of the term WHORE, whore. And let's identify some differences between the two of them. Whore of Babylon, maybe you've heard the phrase or the title, and we've got harlotry in Revelation of the grand book, the Bible. Now, harlot can be used in two terms. I've shown you one, can be angelic sensibility, and it can also be a derogatory, which is most popular today, as a female prostitute, simply. A female prostitute, not male, but female. So, what do harlots do? Well, they, or prostitutes now, to play is to practice lewdness, low and pitful acts. A whore says a person who will violate behavioral standards to achieve something desired. The other way of looking at it also, especially one who compromises their principles for gain. Okay, if you perform a business that is not bringing you any income, you will fall to this low level. So again, you go back to the pit and you compromise standards of loyalty, of goodness, of righteousness to bring in income. So it basically means you're still at a zero balance. You haven't gained anything because it's compromising values. And in the long run, it's going to be harder for you to keep bringing in an income of standard. Again, your frequency will bring you down, it will bring you bad, and you will look like a bat out of hell. Then, aside from the third woe, are the nobodies. Okay, you can still pick your ground up, obviously, from harlotry, from whorism, but then there are the nobodies who think they are such big shots and they do no unrighteousness, they compromise no standards, but they are the most to be detested. Now, whether you're a nobody, whether you're a practicing whore, harlot, whichever nation, you will bring in disease, not just on yourself. And you can see that in medical proof. It has done so, and it's all because of you compromising your principles of standards, what you are not to do. When you rise, the principles rise with you. But if you're not prepared to do anything and your attitude is lacking, you will not only fail, but you will also lose any hope of recovering a standard that you may have once started off with. If it wasn't working for you, you've done something wrong, you've neglected some values, obviously, that you were not prepared to go back and counsel with. Now, that's the differences between a harlot. It can be collective, a group of women. Remember, it's female. And it can be a collective group, like you've probably seen the movie Charlie's Angels. And indeed, they did good. But female prostitutes who are lewd in a collective sense bring nothing in for any whether you're in a de facto relationship, whether you're in a single prostituted marriage relationship, even. One can say they're married, but still their behavior, their attitude, the way they dress says something else of them. You might be none of these, but your character should reveal that in some way. Okay? Um, if your marriage was arranged, but still you had the choice to bail out, but now you're married, then you obviously have some standards to follow. And if nothing, you must remain faithful to your vows. But the way marriages are happening today, it's all pretty much like a punishment of steps. Vow one, vow two, but more like punishment one, punishment two. So that's all it's about today. People can dress up all they like, but it's what lies beneath the covers, what lies beneath the surface. You must always read between the lines. People wear glasses so they can see properly. That's what seeing between the lines means. The whore is one, and it can be said that a whore is a mistress or a wife. Excuse me. She can be a wife who can become a mistress for her husband. And if you can do that, you gain your husband. You never leave your husband's hand ever. If your husband is too demanding, what do you do? I'm not a counselor, so I can't say. I can't give advice on that. There are professionals for that. On the other hand, if you are a husband who is intolerant or is expecting too much of what his wife can give without succumbing to becoming a mistress, what do you do? Same thing, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a professional counselor, so I will leave that to them. Should you want to seek advice from someone, you can always look on YouTube again, Google, I always suggest. But you have to stay within a relationship, you have to give. You have to be willing to accept the way a person is. They say to forgive and forget, which is not always easy. Sometimes it does more harm than good. So you have to be really willing to forgive, forget. How can you do that? Look it up. There are great examples in illustrative form on YouTube, and I think that should suggest some ideas and concepts to how to handle a particular situation. Okay, let's see. Whore of Babylon. Babylon comes from the word baby. So a mother raises their baby into womanhood. So the mother of Babylon. So out of one woman comes all these different roles. If you aren't prepared to do any of those and stay within that role, then you should never become a whore. Understanding as a wife, okay? So a whore is just like an angelic harlot. Angelic whore is also very good in her holy acts of conduct, or she can be a misconducted woman, and which is the reason why there is now an outburst of divorces. And it's not always the woman, sometimes it's also the man who falls into a trap of unfaithful acts. So seek the advice of a professional or read. But that has shed some light. Usually, many businesses today that deal with the earth, with Mother Earth, are carried by women. And if these women have no idea what Mother Earth expects, if they have no idea on values, standards, behavior, attitude that are good, inviting holy acts of conduct is exactly meaning that. then they were gonna get nowhere anyway. So it was all just to show that head starters later led to their downfall. You may see similarities in harlotry and whoris, or whorism rather, not whoris, harlotry and whorism. But it says the harlot, so there's only one harlot that is always forever righteous, and she is the angelic representation of Babylon's whore. Okay? Now you can learn from that example, read, and apply it in your life, because you cannot become that. You cannot be that. That space is taken forever. So realize how your humility is in accepting that your ego will bring you low, and it'll stay there unless you decide to seek a role model for yourselves. So this is specific to women, feminine gender. Be of feminine gender. Now the word woman also, woman, man from woman. A woman can also transform into a man, but a man comes from a woman can only transform back into that state of form. But a man is a man. Where it says woman, it can mean either. Where it says man, it's only man. Namaste.